Hello, everybody. It's Graham Cofe with My Music. I am back today with Jay Moussa-Mann, who will be talking to me about her music after this short video from Analog Trash. Please, if you've fallen asleep already today or you've had a bad night, this will wake you up. Jay, thanks for joining me. Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Middlesbrough at the minute, in my little home studio office.
Lovely. Do you know what? I've been to Middlesbrough about 3 times in my life.
Yeah.
And I was there, every time that I was there for about 15 minutes. Because
why?
Because it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because so I've not really seen much of Middlesbrough. What I've seen is the inside of the National Express depot at Middlesbrough, which was an interchange. So I used to went to university up in Sunderland, and I sometimes caught the National Express bus from Milton Keynes, and it always stopped at Middlesbrough. We got off at Middlesbrough, got on another bus up to Sunderland.
Was that next to the BBC? That bus stop?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen
the BBC. I've seen the bus stop. I haven't seen anything else.
I used to, because I had family and friends up here and used to be in London, so sometimes would get the bus up from London, and every time it stopped there, I would look at the BBC and get this little lurch in my heart of like, one day. And then one day I got played there. So it's like a core memory for me, that bus stop. It's really weird.
It's cool, isn't it? BBC buildings do that to you. I used to work for a commercial radio station up in Sunderland, but I always wanted to get inside a BBC building, and then it happened. I started to do some bits and pieces for Radio Newcastle. In fact, very embarrassingly, I spent a whole day on the metro in Newcastle with Pudsey Bear one year for Children in Need, asking people.
Isn't that embarrassing?
Well, it was.
I think that's great.
It was great. It was great. Yeah, the power that you have when you walk around a train with a bear that's like 7 foot tall. It's really, no one's pinching your seat. I'll tell you that right now. When did you first start making music?
Probably when I was 10 years old, and I got my first little guitar. Just started making up songs, but I always kind of held it at arm's length. Everyone used to be like, "Do you want a career in it?" I'd be like, "No." And I think it was because for me it was very therapeutic, and I knew somewhere inside that if I started trying to make a career out of it, it was going to damage the thing I was using it for, which was to just feel. So it was only like I always get the date mixed up, 2018 or 2019, when Bob Fischer, who used to be the presenter of the BBC introducing show on BBC Tees, played one of my songs, and that just gave me it kind of unlocked something that I think I'd been hiding away, where I was like, oh, actually, I really want to do this. But yeah, I started when I was 10. Yeah.
That's a nice way for the door to be unlocked, isn't it? Actually, kind of unexpectedly.
Yeah.
No. I like that. How did he get one of your songs? There must have been. He must have been reaching out. Well, exactly. So
for a different reason. So I was doing an independent feature film that I'd raised funds for. So I was don't ever do this, anybody. I was writing, directing, and acting in it, and it was a musical, and I'd written the music. So I would say don't ever do that because it broke me. But I had huge. I had I had the background of film and TV, so I had a degree in that. I had a lot of experience, so I had imposter syndrome on that, but I felt like I had enough that it was okay. On the music side, I'd never considered myself a real musician, but I'd written this musical and I had huge imposter syndrome. So my thinking was, if I send a song into the BBC and they played it, for example, I would feel much better about kind of, going to investors and being like, do you want to invest in this film? What I didn't expect to happen was that he would play it and love the song, love my voice, then keep playing me. So it genuinely came out of, I did it for one reason and it opened a completely different door, which was really
I
interesting.
love that story. What a great story. There's a couple of things we need to unpack there. One is my mind went racing, as probably everybody else listening to this, their minds went racing as well, when you started saying that you wrote basically a musical film and you starred in it as well. Were you running from one side of the screen to another, being all of the different parts? Were you?
Yeah.
Oh yes, you've got to come over here. I'm coming. Oh, my word, was it like that?
It felt like that, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The project, it's not something I look back on with a lot of fondness in general. It kind of ties into another reason why I started writing music, but I come from a, I guess, evangelical Christian background.
Okay.
And I haven't been to church since 2020. I still have my faith, but I have a lot of issues with church in general. The film I was doing at that time was the story of Ruth from the Bible. Mm-hmm. So it was like a musical based on that. And yeah, we did everything. I mean, in some ways, it was a fantastic project in that I learned to produce, raise funds, write a script, handle a small crew, then work with the distribution afterwards. But it's kind of painful as well because it was very hard to do, and I don't look back on it with great fondness either. So it's a bit of a mixed bag there.
Yeah, I want to see it now. The story of Ruth.
Oh no, please don't.
Yeah, but the story of Ruth is amazing. I mean, that's a story.
It is a beautiful story. It is a beautiful story. Yeah,
it's quite empowering as well.
But I think it could have been done a lot better than I did it. So somebody needs to go make it a better version than the one I did.
maybe what you did was just kind of like a template for somebody else to take and run with.
That's a lovely way of looking at it. That kind of eases it a bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that.
Well, I think you should always think like that when you put something out into the world in a creative way, which is that ultimately we're just producing templates for somebody else to pick up and work with as well. Because nobody's creativity kind of sits on its own.
No, definitely not. I think that's why. I mean, plagiarism is definitely a thing, but I think people get too swept up in like, oh, this person sounds like this person and they're copying. Because I think we build on, if you're inspired by someone, that's the feeling you get. I want to feel that feeling that person gave me. So you try and go recreate it and come up with something slightly different, So
yeah, and also everybody has to start somewhere. And actually, if you just think about learning as a thing, I know my colleague that does another show with me called A Better Way of Life. It's a great title, isn't it? But do check that out, folks. Who's a trainer and a teacher and whatever will tell you that, in terms of kind of the learning blocks of getting proficient with anything, you start, imitation's a big start of that. You have to kind of start from a point of almost copying quite a bit from people, not necessarily the exact same chords and whatever, but you really taking those influences, etc., on board. It takes a long time as a creative to completely find something where you're really kicking something new about, I think. And that's part of the creative process as well, which is great.
And I'm quite open about the fact that with this the album that I brought out in 2023, which is pop, I was very much influenced by Taylor Swift and her songwriting and that pop style. Have you never heard of Taylor?
No. I think every single person I think every single person of a certain age bracket who's been on this show has mentioned Taylor Swift. Pretty much.
It's funny because when she was becoming really popular at way back, I didn't actually like anything that she did, and I would refuse. I was one of those people that I would try and just not like what anyone else liked, which is a bit annoying. But
Oh, that's
what drew
cool. I
me
don't want to like that.
yeah, exactly. But what drew me to her was in 2014 when she came out with 1989. My husband said, I was going through some stuff, and he said, I read this really interesting article about how Taylor Swift's changing from country to pop and all the stuff that went around that. And I think it was in Time magazine, maybe, that article. And that was what drew me to her. It wasn't the music at first, it was reading how you could kind of recreate yourself, which is something I think deep down I was wanting to do. And then I listened to 1989, and then I just fell in love. And I only started listening to her backlog like last year. So I was just stuck on that one album, and then I've started going through all of her other stuff. So I'm quite slow to really get into an artist, which is quite funny, but then I'm stuck on them.
I love that bit, and we'll probably use that as a quote for this whole show, because one of the reasons we don't, a lot of people over the years, I've been doing this for about 3 years now, this podcast, have said, why don't you just play people's music? And the reason we don't play there's two reasons. The first reason we don't play people's music is because the licensing, once you start putting music into shows, is a nightmare. All right, it's a nightmare.
I can imagine.
It's worse than your tax return, right? Anyway, so that bit's you know, you got PRS, MCPS, all of that sort of thing. But the other reason is because actually this kind of follows the line of most of the content that I put out there, which is that actually once you start to get to know the person and their stories and their, you know, the whys behind why people write what they write, and get to know their journey a little bit, it actually intrigues you more to find out about the music.
I completely agree with that. That's how I come to artists, and I know that there's the other side where people just like the song, but I'm always more open to the song when I know the story than when I know the person. I've always been that way.
Yeah,
makes it more interesting.
Yeah, it works. It absolutely works. So you know, we have people on here, and people have listened to people talking, and then they've gone off and they found it, and then they've come back and they've gone, oh wow, that, you know, just everything, and it resonated with me, and what they were saying resonated with me. And once you've built that connection with people, that's what you call a fan then. And musicians don't want customers. This is a really interesting point. You'll know this from your marketing side of things or your social media side of things. It's just that actually in this day and age, a lot of the time what people build are, or try and market, is to clients. Yeah. They try and find customers. It's the wrong thing to do. Yeah. Everybody that's listening out there, you want fans, because once you've got a fan goes with you for the journey, and actually allows you to make mistakes as well. And if you put something out there that sucks, they go, well, do you know what, that sucked, but I'll still stick with it. Can you not put something out that sucks next time? But that's great, because you feed off of fans.
Yeah.
Customers are fickle. Customers will come in, they go, yeah, I like that, and next thing you do is, no, I'll buy that instead.
Which is why a lot of the, I mean, I'm not really into it, there's a mixed bag, but a lot of the kind of teaching tutorial of how to grow on social media doesn't work for artists, because it's aimed at businesses and selling a particular product. And music, for all that we say that that's what it is, it's not that at all. So you have to find a different way to connect with people. So yeah.
No. In fact, the one thing that you must do as an artist, and you probably agree, is be you.
Yeah. Authenticity.
It is, but and it's not necessarily all about your music, which comes on to my next question, which is outside of the music. What other things do interest Jay?
I guess filmmaking, but I was hesitant to say that because obviously that's a job, so sometimes it gets a bit tiring. But I am obsessed with lighting and learning, like I'm always learning. I love that side of it. And then I mean, in terms of hobbies and things like that, I love doing art, doing digital illustrations. But I haven't had a lot of time recently. But yeah, I think filmmaking's always been a passion of mine, and I got a bit burnt out and stopped it. But I try and weave it into the music, so I'll do my own like music videos. I'm trying, that's hard in itself, because you're trying to balance budget with time And because I know how much it costs to make videos, I'm actually really reticent to like pay somebody else to do it. And I really struggle with like putting, like, people put thousands into making a music video, which I appreciate and they look great, but I'm like, you could kind of, does it do everything it's supposed to do? I kind of do it more for the art now. But it's like yeah, I was planning a video yesterday and I was like, oh, there's part of me that's going, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to have so much fun with the lighting. We're going to make it look like this, da da da. And then the other half is like, what's the point? So it's just
Well, no, I'm
constantly,
gonna
it's so
encourage you
hard.
now. I think you should completely keep going with it, right? Because
Okay.
your videos are scroll stopping. They're brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
They're really, really good. If you haven't checked out Jay's Insta feed yet, do that. Because like some of the videos that you're on there, I mean, you know, simple but effective. That's what you've managed to produce there.
Thank
I
you.
mean, everybody loves a smoke machine. Who doesn't? That's
Oh,
why
I've gone a bit nuts with that smoke machine.
that's all I'm going to say. Everybody loves a smoke machine, and you use it with the right lighting and the right angles. You use that very effectively.
Thank you.
You'd never get me in that outfit, but you know, apart from that,
I mean, I barely got into it.
well, people might pay to see me not wear it, but anyway, the other one, the next video that you come across after the blue one, right?
Mhm.
I'll make that sound as though it's rude, but it's not. No, but
No.
people are now intrigued and they're going to find it. The other one, where you're actually standing quite still and being really quite clever with your emotions and your face, etc. I love that as well. You see, it's really clever. It's really clever and simple, but really clever, and shows actually you're quite a good actor as well.
Oh,
I think.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's really nice to hear that because the videos you're talking about, that a lot of thought does go behind them, and I really like try. And then I get a bit tired, and you'll see later in the feed, there's just like a random one. It's hard, like producing stuff Monday to Friday. It's hard. I'm just gonna say that. Like and I think when you know, I have depression and I have other anxieties, and every day is not the same for me. You know, one day I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to do all this. The next day, don't want to be here. And how do you then do that? What, you know, get a smoke machine and jump around in front of it? It's quite tasking, your mind and your body and everything. And I'm sure a lot of artists struggle with that as well.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I reckon I produce over 1,000 pieces of content a month.
Wow.
And yeah, and you know, and when you see the one for me is when you know, when you use creative pieces of software and then they like throw things up on the screen to go, congratulations,
Yeah,
you've done X amount of pieces of content this month.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, have I really? Yeah. But yeah, it's the energy thing. Where do you get your energy from?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's quite logical a lot of the time. So I will just be, on the days when it's really difficult, I'll just, that thing where if you just start, if you're not feeling creative, you just start, it'll get creative.
Yep.
So sometimes I just like to put the lights on, start setting up, get in front of the camera, practice, and then it starts to build, because I think that's the hardest thing. There's times where you feel creative and then go for it, and those are great, but then there's other times where you just have to do it, and you start getting into it as you go. So often it's just kicking myself and saying, get up and do it, because you never know.
I find routines are really, really helpful.
Yeah.
Not for everything, because otherwise, if everything was routine, then you'd spoil some of that creative energy, the spontaneity. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, thanks for that. My mind was wandering through the dusty dictionary, but it didn't find it. But yeah, the first thing that I do every single morning, done it for 4 years now, is because I'm on lots of different platforms, but the first platform I go to every morning is LinkedIn. And my first thing that I do every morning at between 6:30 and 7:30 every morning is a poll. on LinkedIn. I've done it for four years or so, every single morning.
Wow.
And amassed quite a big. I mean, I've about 22,000 people follow me now on it.
That's brilliant.
But doing that every morning, challenging myself to come with that every morning, and have part of it is that I'm looking for a take on human behavior, etc.
Yeah.
It just kickstarts my creative process, and I think everybody needs that.
Yeah,
I think everybody.
And I think it changes as well. Like you say, kind of where does it come from? I have to go through different things that I'm doing all the time. So like recently, I've just decided to get back into the music production side of actually trying to mix my own songs, because I work with a producer, Patrick Jordan, who's amazing. But I really want to get better at doing it as well. So I've started. It was supposed to be every night. I didn't do it last night, but I'm going to try and stay on track, is to do like an hour or two every evening where I film myself just mixing, learning Logic, learning all the plugins that go with it. And it's different to what I've been doing on Instagram, and it's different to the music stuff in terms of showcasing it, but it's something I think if I keep doing it, you never know what's going to come out of that and create something else. But I find I have to do different things to keep me entertained, because sometimes it's boring promoting your songs all the time.
Oh yeah.
Have you thought
of buddying up at all? Have you thought of sort of like finding someone else, like quite similar to you, maybe in age and situation or whatever? That there's an artist that comes to mind. I won't name them on here, that's been on the show, and I might connect you together afterwards. But just thinking, like, it's another great way of keeping that energy, isn't it? Is to maybe not work together, but just find like a
collaborate.
support. Well, collaborate,
or even just talk.
Even just talk and go like, what are you working on today? Oh yeah, I'm working on this. Oh, I got stuck in Logic doing this. What? Oh yeah, actually, there's this button. Oh yeah, thanks. Find that.
That would be amazing.
That really helps.
To have that. I have that with a songwriter in Nashville who I work with occasionally, and it's just really nice to kind of talk about songwriting together and all the different things. But I haven't got that in the mixing side of stuff. So
in Nashville, fantastic. Yeah. Do you have to put on the Nashville twang whenever you
No.
talk to them?
No. I just listen to their lovely accent. Well, actually, she's not from Nashville, so I don't think her accent is from there. She moved there. But I because I was in kind of the background I was talking about, I grew up around a lot of Americans from Tennessee. So I'm really used to that accent. It's actually much more familiar to me than anything else. So I love it. And I used I used to come home from friends, and my mum would tell me off for talking in an American accent. I might have grown up with an American accent, but she stopped it.
Well, I can't place your accent necessarily. So
it's mixed.
Yeah, it's definitely not Middlesbrough.
My mum,
definitely not.
My mum's from Newcastle. My dad is Turkish Cypriot. I went to I was homeschooled until 14. I went to boarding school in Sevenoaks. And now I'm here. So
wow.
Mixed. And I used to
You have been everywhere.
Listen to this. I used to get teased in Sevenoaks for having a northern accent, and I think that's hilarious, because here I'm teased for having a posh accent.
Oh.
Because I think I said I used to say grass instead of grass. That was the teasing.
Oh yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, grass.
Yeah.
Grass. It's grass.
It's grass.
Yes, of course it is, young lady.
It was very much that kind of school as well.
Oh really? Was it? Oh my goodness. Did you have a blazer?
Yes, I did.
Oh yes.
And I was in the boarding house, so we had a matron and had a curfew. But I was on a bursary. So a lot of people, my husband had to tell me that when I say I went to boarding school, a lot of people assume I was from a rich background, but I was not. I was the poor kid.
Wow. I mean, you could almost write a musical about it, but Matilda's already been done. So I mean, we'll kind of leave that. Do you like going to see musical theatre yourself, by the way? Do you actually?
I used to before I did one.
Now you've been turned off forever.
Yeah, a little bit. Not forever. It'll come back eventually. But yeah, I think when you're in it, I was in it all the time, looking at every musical. So now I'm just like, you know what? I want to watch a film with no music in it. Yeah.
You've mentioned Taylor. Who else is kind of on your listening radar at the moment?
At the moment, I'm a huge fan of Maisie Peters.
All right.
I don't know if you've listened to her, but
Yeah. I have my Good Witch T-shirt. Actually, I
oh,
could have worn
I
it today
don't.
if you'd have said. Oh
I
yeah,
have no merch apart from I don't think I have a CD
there
yet.
she is up there.
But I
Look,
went to see. Yeah, that's it. I went to see her live in Newcastle, or was it Sunderland? I think it was Newcastle, and she was.
Well,
brilliant.
get the right one, because one's Mackham's and one's Geordie's, right?
Yeah, whoops. I've been everywhere. Everywhere's the same,
Don't tell them that.
Yeah, love her. Sabrina Carpenter, I really like.
Oh yes.
But then I also just like old stuff, like from the 80s as well. I'm a big, when I'll just dive into the.
Who's your favorite 1980s artist?
1980s. I don't know, because I switched between loads of different. I was just the thing that stuck in my head is Mary's Prayer. Is that what?
Oh, Danny Wilson.
Yeah, Greg Clark, isn't the right? Greg Clark is
Yeah.
the writer. Yeah.
I'm gonna grab some CDs here from here, and I always keep a pile of music everywhere throughout the house. So
I love Shania Twain. Banana. Yay!
You love all of this, really. You do.
Yeah.
5 Star. Do you remember
yes.
them?
No, I don't. I mean, I might have heard it, but the funny thing about me is because of where I grew up and my background, you can tell me something that everybody knows and it'll be brand new to me. So I still am discovering, because I didn't have access to a lot of pop culture and pop music. So
really,
yeah.
What did you listen to growing up then?
Stuff that my mum would get on CD. So I was a big fan of the Bee Gees, Jerry Rafferty, Eric Clapton, and then Michael Ball. Like, it's a real mix of things. But I was obsessed with Michael Ball when he did he did like a kind of a pop thing at he kind of did covers of pop music. Do you remember that at the Royal Albert Hall? And I was like obsessed with that. He sang Hot Stuff. So lots of different KD Lang. Again, random. So and then
constant craving for that, isn't there?
Oh, I love that song. And then lots of Turkish pop music. So
now
we're
getting to really interesting stuff. Turkish pop music,
Oh yeah, Tarkan. Have you heard of Tarkan?
No. Can you actually sing in Turkish? Can you do a bit of Turkish or not? Yeah?
I can. Yeah, I can. I used to write songs in Turkish. But
have you thought about having like a bit of that coming over into what you're doing as well? Or?
Yes, actually, the album that I did has one Turkish song on it called 17. The title's in English, but it's half English, half Turkish.
Wow.
Unfortunately, when it came out, the earthquake happened at the same time, so I couldn't really promote it because Turkey was in such a state of mourning. It was just felt completely wrong to do anything with a happy pop kind of thing. But I also have a bit of I don't know, conflict about doing it because I love Turkey. I lived there for a lot. I have such a passion for the place and the people.
You don't think it's authentic?
No, it's not that. I feel like there's a stigma and a misunderstanding here. So I'm afraid. Nice. I'm afraid of presenting it in the wrong way and then getting kind of blanketed as though the Turkish singer or and it's not because that's a bad thing. It's because people won't understand the whole of me. This is a problem I have being mixed race and from like living over 2 cultures in 2 countries. I don't know I struggle to present myself because people like to put people in boxes. And if you just say one word, they're like, oh, she's that. And I struggle on so many levels with all of that, but I have so many songs that I'd love to do in Turkish. I'd love to kind of mix the 2 and present them in different ways. It's something that's there, and I'd love to do it, but I'm just waiting for the right way to package it, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does make sense. And what's going to happen is when we do the clip from this video and we put that bit out and we ask people the question, would you like to hear Jay doing it, and you get thousands of people that then you'll feel a bit like when your song was played on BBC Introducing, you will feel validated and then you'll do it.
Yeah.
You see?
That would be great.
It's all about these validating moments in life.
Yeah, it is important.
It is actually. As much as we can kind of pretend and we can say, oh, we don't really care what people say about us on social media, or we don't really care about, what other people think and all of that sort of. We do, because we're humans. Of course we do. And it's about strengthening the place that we're coming from, so that we feel like we're doing things for the right reasons. It's about creating or strengthening our own narrative, I think.
Yeah, and you have to have input. You have to. I think artists get tired because they're doing so much of it themselves. It's kind of a relief when someone says, "How about this?" and you don't have to have all the ideas,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, it's been, look at that, 30 minutes, just like that.
Perfect.
Gone through the door. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you. And I look forward to hearing more music from you and seeing where it all goes.
Thank you.
If you could end up, playing a support slot or playing a gig with somebody in the next year or so, who would that be? Just as an ending.
Can it be like crazy dreamy?
Yeah, you can be anybody you like in the world.
Okay, I hear that Taylor Swift might be playing in Turkey next year. Wouldn't that be cool to support and sing a Turkish song?
Campaign starts now. J for Turkey. Yes. Yeah. J Swift. It's going to happen.
Fantastic.
J times Swift. But it's going to happen.
Got a ring to it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Do you see the empowerment that just even saying those words? Now you've manifested it. It's just going to happen now.
Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. Can you get me tickets when it happens, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
My 10-year-old, who will be 11 at the time, would just go absolutely crazy if you did that.
And I'll introduce you to all the best food there as well.
The best food. Yeah, from Turkey. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Been once. Went on our honeymoon to Turkey, actually.
Whereabouts?
Marvelous, but actually, nice. Yeah, it wasn't the best experience. And actually, I spent most of the time trying to find McDonald's because some of the food in the hotel was.
Yeah, it can be a bit hit and miss. Depends where you go.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be going back to that hotel again. Not going to be recommended. Not on my TripAdvisor anyway. But there we go. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. If you've ever got anything, send something to join the board. Be right up there next to Maisie.
I will do.
No, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would love to do that. Thank you.
And folks, I don't know why we're missing up today. Maybe I haven't paid the meter. Something like that.
Why did I move back? I moved backwards when you did that for some reason, like you were going to hit me in the face.
No, it's clever. It just very quickly. I would just finish by telling people this: if you want to bring an audience into what you're doing, especially on video, so if you come in closer, what you'll find is that people come in closer. But if you sort of do things like that, people do move back. It's almost like threatening. And you can use your body a lot in video to kind of manipulate the audience. Not that we manipulate anybody. Jay, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Please, folks, go and check out Jay's music. We will be adding one of Jay's songs to the My Music podcast playlist, so you can all get to hear it along with the other 20 hours. Wow. Of music that's on there. A track from everybody that's been on the show. Please do go and say hello on Instagram, connect, follow, all of those wonderful things. If you want to, you can also follow this show and like it and follow and whatever on Spotify. But I don't really care. It's all about the musicians as far as I'm concerned. And that's what's important. So do go and support. And we'll all go to Turkey when it happens to go and see you. We'll all be at the front whilst you're playing before Taylor comes on as well. Until next time, this has been a My Music with Jay Moussa-Mann. Please do go and check her music out.